I love the Saw movie series. Despite its reputation being that of gory torture porn, I have always and will always defend the series for its complex characters, emotional depth, and fascinating plot twists. Some of these twists are unearned and ridiculous to be sure, but they are nonetheless enjoyable and add new layers to the series and its story. Even if the Saw series lacked these twists, I would still love the series due to how much emotional turmoil it puts the characters and the viewer through by creating complicated and horrifying ethical dilemmas. These ethical dilemmas are better known as the main selling point of the movies, traps. There are so many traps in the Saw franchise that are deserving of discussion and praise due to how horrifying and ethically complex they are. However, no trap achieves the same level of complexity, ingenuity, and necessity for analysis as the shotgun carousel from Saw 6. Rather than explaining how the trap works myself, I will allow Jigsaw to do it for me.
6. Ride the carousel. But only 2 can get off. The decision of which to survive falls upon you. But remember, the mounted gun will continue to fire until all 6 rounds are spent. And if no decision is made on your part, all 6 will perish. To offer the 2 reprieves, you must press both buttons at once in the box before you. However, in doing so, you'll give a sacrifice of your own. 2 can live, 4 will die. Your decisions symbolized by the blood on your hands.
Fundamentally, this trap serves as an analogy for the cruel healthcare policy created by the protagonist William. His policy is a formula that measures whether someone qualifies for insurance and is designed to leave out 2/3 of people who apply. Thus, the trap is designed to force William to leave out 2/3 of people as well. This alone makes the trap a brilliant analogy. However, this is only the surface level significance it holds. More importantly, the shotgun carousel creates 2 different ethical dilemmas that William must confront. The first dilemma is rooted in a fact about the trap that most people fail to remember. William doesn't have to save anyone. He isn't forced to press the buttons to stop someone's death at any point. It is purely voluntary. The reason I suspect that we fail to be consciously aware of this fact is that it seems obvious that William ought to save as many as he can, so there is no reason for him to not save anyone. However, upon a closer ethical analysis of the situation, the answer is not that easy. The carousel creates a kind of trolley problem for William. The trolley problem is a question of whether it is better to let people die or to interfere and directly cause others to die, even if it results in fewer deaths overall. This is precisely the problem that the carousel creates. William can abstain from becoming involved, which will cause more deaths. However, once he decides that it is better to reduce the overall death count, he has become involved in the situation and has new levels of responsibility for what happens. The 4 people that die are dying because William chooses not to press the buttons when the shotgun is aimed at them, whereas if William were to walk away from the carousel, all 6 would die due to one equal and identical reason: the shotgun is aimed at them. However, William is tasked with something even more ethically complicated than merely a trolley problem. William is not just tasked with choosing whether to let 6 die or to effectively kill 4. He is also tasked with choosing which 4 will die and which 2 will live once he becomes involved. The decision of which 2 will live entirely depends on William's system of ethics and what he deems to be the fairest approach to the situation. What is so compelling about his decisions is that we see, in real time, that William isn't sure how to judge who should live or die, and his ethical system changes throughout the trap. When the trap initially begins, William is so panicked and terrified that he is at a loss on what to do. The shotgun aims at the first target as William briefly considers pressing the buttons before changing his mind, seemingly feeling as though he should reserve his chances to save someone for later and not use one immediately. Once the shotgun lands on its second victim, William adopts an explicitly utilitarian mindset. The woman that the shotgun lands on cries out that she is the mother of 2 children that need her. The utilitarian mindset, which seeks to maximize pleasure for as many people as possible, allows William to view saving her life as also saving the life of her 2 children as well. This compels him to press down on the buttons as a blade stabs into his hand, and the gun aims toward the ceiling, saving the woman's life. After this, the remaining 4 potential victims erupt into chaotic fits of rage and arguing. William is visibly distressed and seems to not be listening to any of the cases being made by the 4. When the shotgun reaches the 3rd target, he does not even consider pressing the buttons. He simply looks down at the ground in defeat as the woman in front of the gun lies to him about being pregnant.
She's lying!
The shotgun kills her as the remaining 3 continue to argue and make their case for deserving to live, now with more desperation in their voices. However, by this point it is becoming evident that William is no longer concerned with who deserves to live or not, for there is no reasonable metric in his eyes to determine this anymore. His utilitarian mindset has faded away as he rather stoically allows the shotgun to kill the 4th victim.
Right! Mr. Easton, come on!
The final 2 potential victims begin to make a much kinder tone toward William as they helplessly beg to be the one to survive. As they make their cases, however, the audience sees directly that William has no concern for what they're saying. Before the shotgun lands on either of them, William places his fingers onto the buttons. He is going to press down on them, regardless of who the shotgun lands on. It is not a matter of who deserves to live. William recognizes how cruel it is to hold their fate in his hands. Thus, the only way he can reasonably choose is to remove himself from the equation as much as possible by choosing at random. William goes from not being involved at all to being a directly involved arbiter and dealer of death, to a desperately disassociating, broken soul who allows fate to decide who will live rather than choosing himself. The shotgun lands on the last remaining woman. Before pressing down on the buttons, William looks to see who it is he is saving. His mind is not going to be changed regardless of who it is, but he wants to know. He presses down on the buttons as his lack of reaction to the blade stabbing into his hand exemplifies his broken, stoic state. The shotgun points toward the ceiling, avoiding killing the woman. The last remaining potential victim, now a guaranteed victim, drops the act of kindness in favor of lashing out relentlessly at William.
You spineless, pussy-whipped motherfucker! You know what, William? Your policy, it's bullshit! Fucking bullshit!
His tirade ends with a crescendo as he declares William his killer, and not Jigsaw.
Look at me! When you're killing me, you look at me!
The shotgun fires its final round, killing him. The 2 surviving girls cry as tears stream down their faces perpetually, a mixture of tears of horror at the dead bodies around them and tears of gratitude that they survived. William says nothing. He simply finds his way out of the room, a facial expression glued to him as though his soul has left his body. There is much that can be said about William's decisions throughout the trap. Someone may watch the trap and believe that William did the best he could with what little options he had. Someone else may believe that William shouldn't have gotten involved at all. Another person might believe that William should have let 1 man and 1 woman live, since there were 3 of each on the carousel. Realistically, however, we must understand that if we were in William's position, we would be just as at a loss on what to do. For that reason, I am not interested in judging, per se, William's decisions and whether they were correct or not. The most important takeaway is that there is no other trap in the Saw series that prompts these kinds of thoughts in the first place. There is no other trap that creates the same levels of ethical complexity and stress. There is no other trap that demands so much analysis and reflection. That is what makes the shotgun carousel the most ingenious trap in the history of the Saw franchise.